So you all exactly know why I'm standing here today. I'm in front of this camera to tell you something urgent that I need you guys to do. This video will be posted and will be only seen by people who are in Florida and are residents of Florida who are essentially going to be doing something important that I will ask of you to do today. As of now, currently early voting for Florida starts for most people around early August for people who are willing to register to vote and also have done so by the deadline of July 20 that we've already passed by now. July 20th is passed by. If you aren't registered now, you can't vote in the early elections, say early voting, until the next, until November comes by in 2026. As of currently, Florida is essentially in a really good spot to changing its entire fate and doing something exactly historical that we've never seen before ever in the history of this entire state. Since the very beginning, since even before I was born, this state has been conservative for as long as I can remember. And I just know that Florida has a chance to redeem itself the way that it deserves to. Because Gen Z is fed up with everybody. But I want you to vote Democrat. And hold on just a second. Before you do so and go, I do want to do that. Or I want to go conservative instead. If you're going to go for conservative, I want you to look around at yourself and look at your family and see. Is everybody happy there? Is healthcare doing fine? Is the healthcare doing fine? Well, is gas prices doing well for you? I don't think so. I don't think that you are ever going to figure that out as many times as I can tell you. But if you're a Democrat right now, essentially Democrats have a better chance at winning this election compared to what is currently in choice. Dayna Foster is needing to win this race. She needs to essentially win this race to turn Florida just away from going back to the way it was for the past few decades. A conservative state for corporate shills to do whatever they want with the country and its funds within the realm of Florida. Florida has been a tourist central for as long as I can tell. And I walked around of Clearwater. I walked all around of Clearwater to see everything for myself. And I essentially want everybody to look around at themselves and think, do you really want another red state, Florida? Do you want Florida to stay conservative? All to my Latino friends out there, you voted this guy back in. You voted these two conservatives back in. The very representative of my district is conservative. She is a Nazi MAGA Republican. And it seems we didn't learn our lesson in Clearwater County, right? Clearwater City. Correction, Clearwater City. Clearwater City certainly didn't learn its lesson. We're kind of a purple city. In a way, we're very mixed about who we should pick. And of course, Florida has a long history of not trusting its government. But we've been a conservative state for as long as I can remember. All of the delusional folk who are still out there saying that it's the greatest state ever are probably living in worse conditions than the conditions that their parents had. So I just want to say, let's say, profusely, I put down a few of those ideas together. And we'll look back into history just for a bit. Around my time looking very shortly into what Clearwater has in store, along with Florida and all the other cities myself, along with social media, I've seen lots of news media, a lot of legacy media certainly doesn't want to post certain people up there. So I'll be doing my own part in making sure I get exposure on those figures that we're supposed to be seeing winning. So you want to say, let's have any counterclaims discussed over here. Counterclaims. How could Florida rebound from where it comes from? All right, let's put down those. Number one, how is it that we can trust that it could be turning back somewhere better for the better of good for everybody else, not based on skin color, any of that bullshit that you hear around in those places? Just about long enough when I was doing all of this and doing all the research to compile all this information, Dayna Foster, Angie, Nixon are probably some of our best shots here to essentially get us back into our better spot more than usual, let's say. And I had to find this out for myself and find all the research and compile it together because lots of legacy media don't give a shit and don't actually give a shit about most of the candidates that I put up here who I've been placing on the channel for a long period of time. And for as long as I can remember, Florida had been in a very downfall for a long time. Very big downfall. There's a lot of turmoil around there over in most of these parts where most folk are somehow still skeptical of its government, regardless of the same color it's been for the past few decades, which says a lot about the psychology of most human beings that I live nearby. Being that Clearwater is essentially a purple city, it makes it very confusing to me to see how people could go from different spectrums on the scales, from different points around going from blue to red, when it's actually, why don't we see who has more money and who has less money, and let's see how we can transfer all that money over to people who have less money. So let's say, for example, Frels have less than 30K, 40K coming in by year. Say, all right, they have less money. Why are they bitching and moaning about all of these things going on? Let's say they're red or blue. Who cares where they come from, what color, the parties that they associate with most of the time? I look into those people and I go, those people are suffering regardless of the specific party that they are registered to vote for, or no party that they're registered for. We still have people who are still in the no parties. I call them the wusses, the pussies, because the people who are not affiliated with parties, well, they're mostly pussies. Now, of course, Monism is something that I'm specifically leading to and trying to make sure I advocate for to continue to grow in different size when it's spreading throughout Florida. And I've obviously been a whole long time follower of such Monism. And again, Monism is not a religion; it's merely a movement that was invented a long time ago, back in 2012. So I'm not a democratic person, but I'm also not conservative. It's a very easy thing that you can follow and find out for yourself with information, enough research done, if you're not such a fucking dumbass who relies on TikToks and AI to find out your information, because most people who I know still rely on AI and TikTok to get their information. It's a scary time whenever I see that, and it's for both sides. You're both pricks. Both sides are both pricks. So let's look at this based on logic, information. Angie Nixon is not sold out by corporations. Angie Nixon is running for Senate. We could also have a non-corporate Republican run. Yes, we can actually have a good Republican. They're supposed to be in strengthening the state or weakening the state. All right, both ways. How can we essentially make it so that everybody wins? Dayna Foster is running for governor of Florida. She is still doing her thing, still trying to get as many votes as possible for her people, and news media is still not covering it. Still not covering it. I've been covering AI, science, math, music, writing, Adobe, Netflix, Paramount, Skydance, Lucasfilm, Disney. I've been covering numerous companies, PayPal, MasterCard, Visa. Look, honey is still going around. We're still exposing flock safety to this very day. The global censorship war, if you all didn't know about that stuff, it's still going on. So regardless of like all these things going on, you gotta wake up and pay the fuck attention. Florida, it's time to wake up and vote blue. Why did I go on a rant about specific things people are doing on the internet? Look, there's people on the internet who are still skeptical of voting for specific people out in here in Florida. I get the skepticism, but Gen Z are the ones who are going to be listening to you. For Gen Z, you are the last hope. Boomers, they ain't voting for you. They haven't been to school for decades. They haven't been to school. They've never witnessed school shootings. They see it from where they are safely placed inside their retirement homes, suffering from 15K a year. Going, I don't know how a school shooting is like. I can't tell what AI is doing that is wrong. There are data centers in Tampa being built near where I live. Still where I live. Near. And there are people out there who I know who constantly travel wondering why the heck my head hurts. Because we still have ICE agents out there like Nazis, kidnapping people off the streets. I do want violent criminals outside this country. Vote Angie Nixon for Senate. Vote Dayna Foster for governor of Florida. It's possible to do so. You can get those in, but you need to actually do the action. Are you registered to be a Democrat? You don't know how to? Go over to your county site. Most of the time, it's a county. Your county will have information about how you can register now. Now, since it's already past July 20, you can't vote for early voting this August, so you won't be able to tell who will be running in general elections. General elections are in November. Primaries are this August. So by the time we have the August 18 results, the August 18 results for this 2026 will be deciding which Democrat candidate is actually going to be running against a conservative candidate. So there's a lot of shills out there and exposed. David Jolly is a corporate shill. He is a sellout. He wants to make Israel great again. He's like, make Israel great again. That's how he wants it. Just like the Iran song that was fully AI generated sung about when they sung about Donald Trump, and by the way, I'm saying this jokingly, they generated the vocals where it said this famous line, I can't stop hearing it in my head. They're like, make Israel great again. That's what they said in the song. AI generated a song for that. And now I'm going to keep using that as a slogan for most of these corporate shells who are running as candidates for governor and senate. Look, Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis sold us out. You care about Scientology? You want fuck-ass Scientology out of your county, out of your state, out of your neighborhood? Great. Vote Angie Nixon and Dayna Foster now. Absolutely. You must essentially do so. Because if you don't, and we get in another fuck-ass retarded Republican over in Congress, if we have another dumbass buffoon running in Congress, running the conservative state into another shithole that we already have with tourism and gigs, ruining the accuracy of our jobs and unemployment rates that are still going up. Because as much as they want to report that jobs have been added, we still haven't been up back where we started from. We went down and we went up a little because then people started doing Uber. I can't believe the amount of Ubers I saw where I was going. So to check that the video is still running, we're around 12 minutes in. You do not believe the amount of Ubers I've been seeing around where I am. There are a lot of Ubers everywhere I go. I'm trying to get a job, still unemployed after 1 year and a half. 1 year and a half. Every singular cousin and friend of mine lost their jobs because they were Gen Z. You know, we used to have a bureau that protected people for such discrimination as stupid as a generational discriminatory anecdote. Look, I want people to perceive this. It's as stupid as a Discord roleplay server that won't allow people to do certain things because it's their roleplay server. It's like, think of this as a roleplay server. For my, let's say, I'm going to simplify it to Gen Z voters who are still nervous about things. Let's say I simplify it down for you. Saying, government is like a Discord roleplay server, and they're like, you're Gen Z, so you can't be there. You can't work here, you can't vote here, you can't do this here. You're Gen Z. But what if I'm like disqualifying other generations? Now think about it as roles, like they're roles. And this one role doesn't allow you to do certain things because they said you're the specific role. Say that it's a generation. Most of those roles, most of the most occupied ones are the ones older, around their 40s, 50s, still living in Florida. Sometimes a nihilistic piece of shit who is in their 30s who has no party affiliation, who still won't vote for fucking logical, sensible candidates that will get us here. I don't care if it's blue or red. Honestly, after looking into genuine examples of good Republicans and good Democrats on both sides, I even saw a few good independents out there. You know, as much as you want to say that maybe it's a color issue, I looked at it and didn't think it was a color issue. It was more who has more money and who has less money. And if you don't have that money in your pockets, great. You want to vote for Angie Nixon because she's going to put more money in your pockets. You want a higher minimum wage? Florida? Use your brain for 1 second. Say for Latinos for Trump, or Latinos for MAGA, or Latinos for what? Vote for Democrat. Switch. Don't vote. What I'm going to do here is strategically ask people who are registered as Republican, because you won't be able to vote in this one. You're not going to be able to vote. I want you have two options. To not vote for any of the Republican candidates that you think of who are in the ballot for primaries this August 2026. If you're a Republican, you're still registered, you want to switch to Democrat, don't vote. I know, crazy. then, and if you don't want to, and you still want to vote, I want you to do this for me. Reverse psychology. If you still want to vote, and you don't give a fuck about what I'm saying, and you still want to vote, vote in the most racist, most terrible, most egregious, most disgusting human piece of shit you can think of. Vote them in to the Republican primary. Vote them in. Vote them in proudly. When we get Angie Nixon and Dayna Foster over in that Congress, they're going to debate those people, and they're going to be so easy to pry apart like toys and Build-A-Bear at 9 p.m. I want you to vote for the worst absolute human possible for Congress, for all of these things. I think that would be a great idea, because then you'd see how great these candidates that we're putting up to the challenge can do when they are put under pressure. Jake Lang, just so you know, Jake Lang was trying to run for Senate, and he got kicked out because he was a grifter, Nazi, violent terror criminal. And look, I can say this about Democrats. They're Democrats who are like, we want to make Israel great again. They take AIPAC money. AIPAC, AIPAC. They want to make themselves get the money that we accumulate from Medicare and then put it over to Israel instead. Israel wants that money to keep continuing its war. And rather than going free Palestine, they go for free Israel. What Israel? The Israel government or the Israel people? Yes, free the Israel people. Yes, freedom. Free all the Israel people. Free all the Iran people. Free the Palestine people. Absolutely do so. I want all of them to be freed and untouched. The governments? You mean the Iran, Israel, Palestinian government? Okay. You mean those guys? Put them in jail. Switch those fuckers out. I could not give a shit about them. If you really want to free Israel, go ahead. Free Israel's people. Not the Israel government. The Israel people. Now, if you want to free Iran, free the Israel people. The Israel people, the Iran people, the Palestinian people. Free them out. Get them out of the war. But the governments up there who sent those people to die in the wars, put them in jail cells, bars, war criminals. People died. Gen Z, you saw what happened in Nepal? Nepal had a Gen Z revolution where people protested because of the social media ban that occurred in their country. France just recently banned social media for 15 and under. They banned social media for 15 and under people who are 15 years old and under. All of the social media they listed precisely in their list, giving them no say. It's like a virus. I told you that one day AI could be done to do so much fraud that you have never seen before. Never seen before ever in your life. Fraud at a scale so unbelievable that it irritates me to wake up every day to notice that it's still going on and there are no action taken from both sides of both parties over here. There are starving artists out there. Starving artists. Their entry barrier to art is $0. And they're suffering? How is that possible? But, no worries. Both parties did that. Not just Republicans. No. Democrats too. You guys are in this mess. Some of you guys voted for these specific acts, laws, regulations to pass. And made people that have like a very small entry level of barrier to start their job suffer starting their job in the first place? How do you make it that people who have barely any entry barrier necessary for them to start their career, to start suffering so bad that they actually are still starving, that they actually starve from the government, basically passing new laws? It's like art and music have become this essential thing that you're like, oh, it's convenience now. Like you're making creativity convenience rather than actual experience. So that's essentially gone and shrink and shortcut. And like in my numerous years of studies, I found that monism is a way to be able to put these things together fairly and make sense of all of it so that humans can progress further. Monism is probably some of the things that I think are last necessary for Florida to continue the way it is. So, Angie Nixon, Dayna Foster, Senate, Governor. I've looked into the Commissioner for Agriculture. The Commissioner for Agriculture literally used AI recently. Though he thinks of like certain policies that he thinks would be nice to help his people with, the guy who's running for Commissioner of Agriculture, one of them, is Joey Atkins. Joey Atkins can't even do his job right. And what saddens me is that the bare minimum, this guy would be better than the guy he's running against. This guy, Joey Atkins, would be better than the one running against him, and he's making mistakes all over the place in his campaign. And I'm posting these people. I post these people to give them exposure, all sides of the spectrums, to see what they would do. And I try to interact with them within the Clearwater City. And from most of the conversations I had, lots of them, some of them know what they're doing, some of them know what they're doing, some of them are starting out, some of them are just learning about things, and some of them have no clue what they're doing. And what's so bothering is that lots of these specific types of people that you notice come from all the colors of the spectrum when it comes to politics. And a majority of them have absolutely no fucking clue what to do. And that's in Florida. Of all the places that you would think have the best education, because they said that there's the best education. That is true, by the way. That is true. They have some of the top schools over here in Florida. That's only for the rich and wealthy, though. All the poor people, who cares about them, says all the people with 50 years of dollars that they stacked over years of lobbying and forming their campaigns around political lobbies their entire life. And that's for both sides of the thing going on around for Florida, because Florida has always been troubling. Very troubling. It's distinct. It has a unique spin because I've been around here for at least over 2 decades. Over 2 decades. And seeing how it's progressed, it went from like oh shoot to oh dang to oh shoot to oh dang to oh shoot to oh dang. And this has happened very consistently over time, but I feel like there might be a genuine turn towards how things are going. Statistically, after doing lots of research, which most legacy media, like again, let me admit, okay, so schools in Florida, up there, okay. News media in Florida, fuck ass sucks. Everybody there, regardless of both sides, don't know how to do their fucking research. And I'm saying this myself as somebody who's supposed to be not affiliated with anybody. And most legacy media that I checked, when I've spoken with adults who worked in these stations, or these communities, or these watches, or whatever unions, or whatever these places, people from all different kinds of parties, they always say similar things about each other, and then most of the times have no fucking clue what they're doing. Whenever I tell them what an LLM, let's say for example, I told them, hey, do you know what an LLM is? I told this to a news reporter who has been a news reporter for 16 years. She didn't know what LLM is, but she is the one who wrote an entire report about AI in Florida. Didn't know what the hell what an LLM was. And I was like, this is like standard knowledge, free. You can find this as easy as an AI search. And how did she not know this? Because she needed clicks for her report to make it out there, regardless of what party she's reporting it for. And I saw both sides do this, where they also are scared of like specifically mentioning certain words, like a Discord server. Whenever they say, like, you can't talk about this in my Discord server, just like how the news is like, you can't talk about this on my broadcast. They do the same thing, right? So we have our stupidity and sheer absolute impunity on Discord, just as broadcasts have that sheer impunity for freedom of speech to do some really dumbass monkey level shit or any other piece of shit that I find that they do from both sides of the spectrum, so you can't tell what an LLM is. Okay, and that's just one thing. And there's a whole bunch of other things that they don't understand that they're reporting so confidently. And look, this is a real thing. Confidence in your own stupidity is something practiced in all generations, as far as I can tell history, when generations went out and said that I know everything, but they didn't. They didn't, okay? Do I know everything? No! But do I know more than those specific kinds of people that I'm specifically naming out? Yes, I do. I'm an expert. But in a world where facts are considered a form of harassment, in a society where facts are considered a form of harassment, in a community where they think it's harassment to fact check people, where the news thinks it's harassment to say facts on the news, where commissioners think it's racist or discriminatory to point out their corporate donations, you would think that there would be placements that do the reverse. The same effort. Yeah, I didn't see that, and you should vote Dayna. Yeah, Dayna Foster, vote her in. Vote Angie Nixon for senator. Vote Dayna Foster for governor. And with all the experience that I've mustered and I can for this recording, I hope that you learn very well from the mistakes of our, prior ancestors who decided to not accept reality and got us here in this first place. Thank you for joining. And I hope this is a warning that as much as you want the conservatives to win, we might have a blue turnout, but that blue turnout might suck if we don't get the right people in running as Democrat. And if it's a conservative and we have a non-corporate conservative, vote their ass in. I want a red state that actually operates for its people. We had Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey is a good example. It's possible to have a good Republican. We saw what you can do with Democrats. We saw what we can do with Bernie Sanders when he's independent. Nonetheless, this is over. You're over. And I hope everybody that I called out in this video noticed this video. Florida, we're going to turn this blue. But make sure that that blue is true blue. True blue Democrats. Only true blue Democrats. For now. And until then, in the future, we might have a Motenist in government. That might be Jimmy. That might be me. Stay safe out there. Go beyond limit and excel. Make sure that these things happen. Spread out the word. Don't be violent. Use social media wisely. And fact check your news stations every so and then. Because I'll be going on an entire escapade on the internet. Hosting these idiots. These geniuses. And trying to get them to swing over and win their elections. Alex Vindman is a corporate sellout. Alex Vindman, corporate sellout. Brian Donalds, MAGA, Nazi. Alright? You get it now? Alright. David Jolly, corporate shill, loves Israel. Alex Vindman loves Israel. Loves surveillance. Both of them would love surveillance too. They will get lobbied by tech companies. Stay safe. I'll see you there. It's the Projectia, and as always, make it iconic.